already talking to him.
Yeah.
We debated talking to him and then we said, well, another day.
You haven't talked to him yet? Oh, he's awesome. Okay, what
He's my favorite. He's gonna give us Jesus coins
Everybody
next time.
smile. Not you, photo bomber.
Since I'm not a member of the ward, let me go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Rick Rankin. I'm not an LDS member, but I married one. So I get my t-shirt in the mail eventually here pretty soon. So
We'll send you one.
Exactly. So give you a little bit of background about myself. Was a firefighter and EMT for 13 years, both volunteer and professionally. My address today was actually a member of the CERT team, which is the Community Emergency Response Team in Cobb County, and we're doing a job fair. Not a job fair, I also do that on the side. Job fair, but a community fair today, because I'm also a member of the Search and Rescue team there in Cobb County as well. But more importantly for today, actually I hold a degree, a Bachelor of Science from the University of Kentucky.
Really?
Thank you. Appreciate that. With an emphasis on agriculture, horticulture, and communication. So everybody says, well, what do you do with a degree in agricultural communications? I talk to bees and trees and stuff like that. So the bee whisperer. So today we're going to talk about container gardens. Anybody ever done container gardens before? Okay, what did you do? Of your choice. Kind of have a recommendation. You kind of want something heavy. You go into Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever. You see some of them that are kind of flimsy. You really want something that's going to be sturdy because you're going to have some water and weight in there. The last thing you want to do is crack it. And if it is outside with Georgia weather, one day it could be 35, the next day it's going to be 85. And plastic tends to expand and contract with those weather changes, so you can have those cracking effects as well. This is basically, you can get Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, any place like that. This is going to be a 25-gallon container, okay, when it's totally filled up. Pretty heavy, not going to be able to squeeze it in. Going to be very, very sturdy. The way it works is you're going to be able to drill some drainage holes in each end. Can everybody see them? Right through here. You can put some on the sides, but 2 are usually enough. That's going to create a base of water down through. And usually at this height, you can these right after election, they'll be willing to give to you if you don't mind putting another candidate's name on there and cut it out. So what you can do, and then 2 pots, basic, what they call #1 garden containers. You can pick these up at any home improvement location or nursery or anything like that. Usually a standard height on there. So what you would do beforehand is on here is to cut what you need for a base, drill some holes into your pots to attach them. They're not coming up, not going to be a whole lot on there. Then you can take, most of your containers are going to have holes in the base for most of your water, but also you want to go ahead and put some holes all the way around it. Because what you're going to do is, when you get that connected, you'll sit that down into your base or your container like that. So what that does is actually create a base, and then take your soil. What I recommend, everybody, we can get into the great argument what type of soil to use. I prefer just to use regular garden soil and put some amendments in it, whether it be peat, and we can take some of the chicken droppings put in for fertilizer. But garden soil or potting soil will work, or a mixture of 2. Your preference on there. A lot of times they're just going to settle throughout the water if they sit there long enough, if you have it in there for weeks or time. So it's not the best thing to do. What I would recommend is fill this up when you do your soil. Either sprinkle like a granular fertilizer, like an Osmocote or something like that, or use the organic like the chicken droppings. You can buy that in a bag, believe it or not. It works out great. But that allows, when the water does come down, it allows that those minerals and nutrients to permeate through and stay into the soil, rather than having to be tried to an elevated area. A lot of those other critters that you may have problems with that are a little bit less agile than the squirrels. That's going to eliminate the best way to go, because they're going to grow pretty big, and really the wouldn't go any more than that because of light constraints, because they're going to start to kind of grow into each other a little bit. If you add more than that, they're going to be competing for space. It's not going to work. So usually two tomato plants. Usually the 2s what I look at, 2 cucumber plants. Now radishes and things of that nature, you can go ahead and put as much in there. Just use the general spacing that you would on the seed packet, because it's going to be able to do the same space there. Now,
the stakes for the tomatoes?
Yeah, that's what it's going to do. With the tomatoes, one thing about some of the containers, if you wanted to drill holes, some of the containers have already pre-stuffed, or you can do it for your tomato steaks. You can just drill a hole into them and you put them into the corners. Or if it has enough weight and depth, you can actually put them into the soil as well. But putting them on
You
the
just
side.
put it into the.
Yep, and I'll show you here just a second. Now that we've kind of seen it, I'll break some of the.
Did you make that, Tim?
Yeah.
You? I need one.
I really love that.
Okay.
I like that. You mean the piece
That is way cool.
That is awesome. Did you drill those holes yourself?
I think that should be an elder sport project to make those for
I'm
the Honor
serious. I
Society.
love that.
I do too.
That is amazing.
And the other piece of wood is for the lid.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Just split mine upside down on the ground.
All right. You can put mineral oil on your wooden utensils if you want to. So that. And then, so I just glued a piece of rubber on the bottom of it so you can put it on top of a table or something. But what this, it protects, out here on these picnic tables, like, it doesn't matter, you stick the hot pot on top of it, but inside on a counter or anything like that, you don't, or on a nice wooden table, you wouldn't want to just stick that right on the table. So, same thing with the lid, you wouldn't want to take it off and just stick it on top of something. That's why I got the other. And plus this, if you're actually out camping, you can put this on the ground, you can take your lid off and put it down, and you're not sitting your lid on the ground.
To get dirt in it. Smart. We all want one.
All right,
He's here.
where's that other thing? We put this. Oh well, we're camping. And use them only for charcoal. Once you put this on charcoal, you don't want to start using it for food. So you don't have to worry about washing or anything, but you just get the longest ones you can find. The short kitchen ones, you'll end up burning your fingers and knuckles and everything off.
That's great.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to put a few, I got 6 briquettes in a circle underneath here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a couple more just so I can heat this stuff up a little bit quicker.
They're not a thing.
So you just put them in a little circle.
How cool.
And just to help heat it up a little
So nice
quicker.
of you to provide dessert for us for our activity.
How do you know how many you should put?
I'm going to get that in just a minute. Okay. Right now, all I'm trying to do is get the cherry filling warmed up. You don't want to stick the cake or whatever on top of it cold, so you just want to get it warmed up. All right. How do you know how much the reason I'm using charcoal briquettes is because there's an actual formula for getting whatever temperature you want in the Dutch oven with the charcoal. You can use wooden coals, but then you're trying to guess at what temperature. And now if you do use wood, do not ever use pine wood to cook with. Any type of pine, cedar, pine trees, never use pine wood because pine has a resin in it that's make your food taste really, really bad, and it's not good for you. So take your Dutch oven, whatever size it is, multiply it by 2, and then divide by 3. And that's going to give you the number of bricks to put on the bottom. And then you double that for the bricks on top. So basically you end up with about, it says about a third of the bricks on bottom, third on top. Depending on what you're doing, really. But if you're like baking bread, you don't want 8 coals underneath there. You're going to burn the bottom of your bread. The more baking you're doing, the more bricks you want to put on top. If you're frying or doing stew or trying to boil water or whatever, you put more heat on the bottom. But even if you put too much heat on the bottom, you're going to burn something. But we've actually cooked with Boy Scouts at another troop. We did biscuits in one of these. The first time we did it, We burnt the bottom out of them. We ate the top half, the bottom was no good. Second time, I basically put just 3 bricks on the bottom and put like 20 on top, and they came out really good. One morning, we browned some sausage, onions, and peppers in the Dutch oven itself, and then we scrambled about a dozen eggs, poured those in, put the lid on, and just put a bunch of bricks on top and let it cook through. And then we sprinkled some cheese on top, let it cook a few minutes longer, and it was really good. You have to check it every once in a while. The third turn, and then the lid. The easiest way to do that is to first set yourself up so that the lid's, you know where the lid's at. Take your pot, rotate it half to a third turn, and then pick your lid up and rotate it back to where it's facing you. That way you've rotated the pot and the lid, and you've removed, so if there's any hot spots, they're now moved. You get more even cooking. If you're doing a stew or something like that, that's not quite. That's what these 2 prongs are in the back for, so you can just lift the lid. It's well worth buying. I used a paired channel locks for a couple of years. It just, between holding the weight of the pot itself and also having to hold the channel locks closed with your hand, I did drop the lid a few times. So it's worth the ridiculous price. Inside and outside of everything in oil. Best to just rub some Crisco oil on it. You don't want tons of it. Just rub it in good, and then you're going to stick it in your oven. Set it on 350, and then let your oven run for an hour. Put a pan under the bottom to catch anything that drips. And you want to put everything in the oven like flat, so that you don't want it in the oven like this, because all the oil will seep down in the bottom. So you turn it upside down, so everything drips off of it. And so you leave it in there for an hour, turn your oven off, and just let everything cool off by itself. And that'll give you your first seasoning. And what the seasoning does is help make the pot non-stick. Now that first seasoning is not going to make it non-stick, I can promise you. I find the best way to make cast iron non-stick is to cook bacon in it. Just keep cooking bacon in it. It'll become non-stick. We had one at a pan at home.
Plus, it makes all the guys happy.
But I could make scrambled eggs in our cast iron skillet and they wouldn't stick.
Wow.
And the only thing, which is not a big deal, you just have to keep adding charcoal quicker than you would usually. Once these charcoal bricks start getting small, they don't produce as much heat, so your temperature is going to go down.
So creating a windbreak makes
Yeah.
them last longer.
Makes them last a little longer. The only other thing you got to watch out for if you're cooking for something for a really long time is the ash starts building up in the lid from the charcoal. Once you get too much of that on there, it starts acting as insulation, and your charcoal heats your pot like it's supposed to. So you get a stiff brush, some kind of brush that can withstand heat, so that you can just whisk some of those ashes off and put your charcoal back on. Good thing about Dutch oven is, if I take this pot out of the Dutch oven and put it over here, we add our cake mix and you're not going to lose a whole lot of temperature. This cast iron holds its temperature very well. Which you have to be careful of around children. Children like to grab things. Like on this one here, if you use this on your stove top, this handle is going to get just as hot as the bottom of your pot. So there's one thing you have to be careful with Dutch oven is the whole thing is hot.
Cute little mitten things that they sell.
Yeah.
My kids turned the flame up high while they were cooking in it, but those are really convenient.
Yeah. Any questions? Does that explain everything? Kind of.
I'm not used to being videoed, so it always throws a nervous wreck. Alright, my name is Keith Colvig, member of Summergrove. I'm here off and on, mainly because I'm either at the fire department or I am off hiking somewhere in the woods. Firefighter EMT for the city of Noonan, and I've worked with Coweta County Fire Department, working on the ambulance, also work in the hospital, in the emergency room as a tech. So if you ever show up there in the front, I'll probably stick an IV in you, draw some blood work, and send you on your way. So I've been doing this for a few years. As soon as I got off the mission, I got hired on with County Fire Department with their EMT school. And I'd have like C-collars and stuff like that I can put on their neck. Obviously if someone's not breathing, some can be doing chest compressions. I can be bagging, vice versa, what have you. Those are like two of the main things that I always carry as far as that's concerned, if it's a trauma or traumatic accident. Anyways, so I got some papers I'm gonna go down, basically talking about the animal bites, burns, lacerations, stuff like that. Like I said, once again, this sheet is just a basis of some things, ideas of what you can do. You don't have to get everything on this list. You don't have to get any of it if you don't want to, but that's not why we're here. So, I'm just gonna go down. So animal bites most common are gonna come from cats and dogs. Aloe vera is really gonna just help you on that, to try to pull the heat out, everything like that.
Would ice work as well for that?
For sunburns, I mean, it'd be a temporary cooling measure, but it's just, first degree is not.
If you gotta put the ice on for a short amount of time, cause otherwise you can damage the skin, cause the nerves are.
Yeah, no, it's
I'm in
fine.
peanut gallery.
I enjoy, cause so basically, it's a little bit deeper, and it's a little bit worse as far as infection, pain, everything like that. Now, you got, old school mom's remedies. Don't put butter on it. You're just cooking it, is all you're doing. Things, basically, yeah. You don't put butter on it, don't put Vaseline on it. That prevents or helps prevent the heat from escaping. And so it keeps the heat in, and basically you're just cooking wherever the wound is. I always carry this because you can cut it down to size, you can do whatever you want with it. Technically, since it is sterile in the pouch, once you open it, it's a one-time use type thing. So I have a burn sheet. You don't want to put stuff that's just gonna stick onto it. You want things that are going to be lightly dressed over it. I would keep it covered as much as possible, but still have a little bit of air to get through to get the heat out. As far as if you're not able to get to the hospital immediately, like you're out in the woods. Once again, flushing. We like to flush. If you get a cut that's pretty deep and it probably needs stitches, don't wait until the next day. You have a certain time frame to come in to be able to get this stitched up. If it's large enough, they'll probably have to go in and stitch the inside before they stitch the outside. Now, if you have a small cut, things like that don't need stitches, or if it's just borderline, you can probably get the little butterfly things to help keep it closed after you rinse it out, wash it, flush it, all that stuff.
Wound seal's really nice too.
Wound seal? Okay, I've not dealt with wound seal, so.
I did super glue before I used it.
Okay. Okay. So, good things about that is it kind of covers it up, and it's a little bit flexible also. You know, putting Band-Aids on, Band-Aids aren't always flexible. And, you know, you got some Band-Aids now, they're like, oh, we're flexible, we're all this, we're all that. You know, if you're like me and go buy the cheapest things you can possibly find, it's not as flexible. Plus, yeah, anyways. So, we definitely want to keep the wounds cleaned out. We definitely want the antibiotics, ointments. They got triple antibiotic ointments. The one I suggest is a triple antibiotic ointment, and it has Bactrim in it. Bactrim leaves less scarring for wounds. Neosporin and stuff like that, they're good, they do their job, but they leave a little bit more scars. A nurse explained this to me, and I cannot remember how it works, but she said use Bactrim. And that's what we use at the hospital. We use Bactrim as far as ointments and stuff like that.
Isn't it an antibiotic?
Bactrim? Mm-hmm. It is. I don't know what I can't remember the difference on why Neosporin leaves a little more scarring, or some of the other things leave a little more scarring than Bactrim. But on it, put clean dressings on it. If you need to, I mean, I would change it out probably once a day-ish. Like if you put one on in the morning, you've been working outside all day, when you come back in, take it off, make sure it's clean, put another dressing on it. Or leave it open if it's good enough to be left open for air, sleep, and then in the morning if you're going back outside or doing something dirty or whatever, cover it back up. but it's very important that you keep them clean. So that way you don't have to have overuse of antibiotics, because having too much antibiotics is not good for you. That can cause C. diff, and C. diff is something that you do not want. If you don't know what C. diff is, it basically is everything like that. If you buy anything that's sterile, make sure it is used within the date. But if it's outside of the date, you can still use it, but treat it as non-sterile, because permeation and everything can occur as far as getting in. So sterile things can only last for so long before it finally permeates through the seal and everything like that. So I got 4x4 gauzes, there's 2x2 gauzes, there's all kinds of stuff. Mainly if I get a cut after I clean it, if I'm going to the hospital, I'm gonna pop a gauze on it, wrap it, leave it set for whatever. And then after everything's said and done, got it all clean, got the stitches, everything like that, I can continue using these gauzes. They'll probably give me some antibiotics to take for like a week, more than likely. And you also have the Bactrim that we're using, right? And so we're keeping that clean, we're doing that. You can use non-sterile gauze for that, because sterile gauze is gonna be more expensive. Just the fact of the matter, because it goes through a different process. But you can use non-sterile gauze also, because it's not gonna be, you're not gonna be soaking it in the mud before you put it on. So it's relatively clean. I'll put that on, whether it be that big. If it's that big, I'll probably use some 2x2. Just pop it on there. Maybe the edges hang out just a little bit, whatever.
Do you see that you use the 4x4 more than anything?
Yes, because it's the
Most
4x
rooms are
or just general purpose, they're the most used, especially in the hospital. I will go through 4x4s more than anything else.
His assistant, Chirpy.
Briefly talk about chickens, and I turn it over to good with bees. Chickens are pretty easy to raise. All you need is some food, some water, and some shelter. And you can have a really fancy shelter, or it can be a drum, you know, just whatever, you know. And the food, this is about 12% protein, because we get range fed, because ours most of the time are out running around. These new chickens into the roost at night, and then when they wake up, they don't know that there's something different. Usually they've got their little clique, but eventually within 3 or 4 days, they don't attack each other. At least that's been my experience. So.
And comfortable with them, you can go out there and do a lot of things without, but you still need to have something. This is a fairly elaborate thing. I've never used it. I probably should wash it. Gloves are handy things to have. Smokers, I just put pine straw in them and light them and
Just a
make them
baffle on the
stick.
side.
Huh?
Just a baffle on the side there.
This is the bellows, and it blows air in the bottom, and then the smoke comes out the top. Is that what you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why do you smoke beef?
We really don't know, but
They fit better in
it
the
calms them down.
Oh, okay.
If they get all excited at first, sometimes it doesn't help. The bees collect off of the buds of the trees and bring back. And when they get through, they build out combs like this. And every time they raise a new baby, it leaves behind a little thin cocoon when it pupates. And so it comes out and it goes from white to black. And it gets bad enough eventually that they'll clean it all down to the base and build new comb on it, because it gets small. They lose. If the pressure's not on you know, they don't express these kind of behaviors, you know, cleaning up. So now they're getting really good at.
And you put it out on the garden, and then you get all your flowers that the bees can see. That's how we have this cycle. So that's it. Where do we go next?
It's capsium oil. Capsium is the oil from hot peppers. Hot peppers, jalapenos, habaneros, cayennes. It's hotter, the hotter the pepper, the more I like it. Simple fact is, it is more potent. Anything weak, not as hot, it don't help as good to me. The way I had to make my capsium oil, I could not find my recipe. But it is basically, you have a saucepan, you pour a pint of extra virgin olive oil. You have to use the extra virgin olive oil for it. Then you put your peppers in. Stems, peppers, just throw them in there. Don't wash them, just put them in there. You will bring it to a soft boil for 4 hours. After it boils for 4 hours, turn it off, let it cool for 4 hours. You repeat that 3 times. What you're doing is pulling all the pure oil out of the peppers themselves, because that's what you want. Once it cools that last time, you pour it all in a blender. Blend it up.
Peppers and all?
Peppers and all. Blend the stems, everything. Once you get it blended, I use this quart-sized jar because it's a big wide mouth. Funnel, I use either cheesecloth or pantyhose. And you strain the mixture. Once you get it strained, it's still gonna be a dark, oily look. That's fine. You can't get everything out of it because you're using extra virgin olive oil. It's more absorbable into your skin. And the capsium will go into the skin and heat the skin and the muscles from the inside out. Everybody says, well, what does it feel like? Basically, it feels like you had a heating pad on your arm or wherever at for a couple hours.
What peppers do you use again? What's your favorite peppers?
I use habaneros, jalapenos, and cayennes.
And can you mix more than one pepper into that?
I use all 3.
All 3 at one time for
Yes.
that mixture? Do you massage the whole body with that, or just is that?
No.
That is just for.
That is for certain areas.
That's pain relief.
That is pain relief right then.
Wow.
It will heat your body up.
It heats your body up.
It will heat it up quickly.
And then you need to go wash your hands after you're finished.
Yeah.
Touch your eyes.
Don't touch your eyes.
If you do it, make sure you get good soap. And when I do it, I use soap and water. Then I come out and use the alcohol, liquid alcohol, basically.
Rubbing alcohol?
Rubbing alcohol.
After you've put it on to get that area completely clean, that's what?
No, I use it on my hands to get the
Oh.
oil off my hands.
Or use gloves.
You leave it on the air.
You leave it on because it'll air dry and be absorbed into your skin.
So would you advise not putting it on, like if you hit your elbow and your muscles, but you also scraped your skin and it's a...
I would not put an open wound.
Okay.
Leave it away from the open wound because anything is gonna burn the
Think you're
open
running around the
wound.
block a few times?
Yes.
How long will it store?
Wearing disposable gloves will be good. Wearing disposable gloves will be good.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, disposable
It's
gloves.
good, but I don't like the disposable gloves because of the fact I won't be able to touch the muscles myself. Anytime I do a massage or anything like that, I won't feel what I'm touching. Disposable gloves you can feel, but you don't have the touch feel to it.
She had a question.
How long does that last once you make your jar of it? How long will the jar last?
The jar will last 8 years, 10 years. I had,
Storage.
I tried to get in touch with Sister Stotts. I'd made some about 8 years ago when her sons were 8 and 9 years old started playing soccer. and I made her a quart-sized jar of it, and that's what she done. I don't know if she used gloves or not, but she, after running and playing soccer, man, my knee hurts. Okay, rub it in, and that jar lasted, I would say, a good 7 years. Something you want to go a certain area that you would like to talk more about. Say you got shin splints, or you're having problems with your elbow or something like that, tennis elbow. Let me know. I'm on Facebook, somewhere, everywhere. Send me a message, I'll get back with you, I'll research everything.
He does wonders with the back, just to let you know.
With the back?
Back issues, he's healed them.
Yeah, and they're great for pregnant moms. They love the massage when they're pregnant. And they love massage after they're pregnant.
After we're pregnant.
And after the baby, they actually recommend massages for the moms after the pregnancy to help with postpartum depression. Massage helps with depression a lot, so it all works together. Thanks to everybody.
Thank you so much.
But what do you have to do before a storm? Okay, a hurricane takes days before it can hit you. So what are some of the things you're going to do? Okay, you're going to sit there and you're going to watch the TV and wait until you see if it's going to turn and maybe come in by you where you live. I've had a lot come in where I live, Katrina. It really came in. But there were a lot of things I learned after Katrina. Do you know how many pairs of socks you have? How much underwear do you have? How many pair of pants? When did you buy that table? When did you buy that TV? What's the serial number? What's your model number? How much was it? The insurance companies want to know that. This is a form. Cases of water, cases of juice, Gatorades and things like that. I did have an ice chest. It was filled with ice. I didn't have much else in it, but ice, cookies, granola bars, things like that you're going to be able to take with you. Of course, you're going to need your reflective blankets and stuff like that. You need a whistle. And sometimes you need machetes and stuff to get, and axes to get through. If you're trapped in your house, you're going to have to cut through your roof to get out. Yes? My bedroom. I went and I took physical, just snapshot pictures of everything. Bathroom, the whole 9 yards, every cabinet. Then I videoed my entire house, inside and out. Therefore, they could not tell me, you didn't have it. Yes, I did. I had it right there.
Did you make it out during the evacuation?
Yeah, we could not get out because all the veins to the interstates were blocked, and people were just sitting in line trying to get on an interstate to get out, and they do what they call contraflow. You get to a certain point in the interstate, and all of a sudden you'll see these barricades, and they will remove them, and all traffic goes out. They will not allow a car to come in, so all traffic goes over here, and everybody flows out. So, and then when we did leave, my daughter was very upset because she called, what are you doing? We're barbecuing. I just had gone to Sam's and bought those nice thick pork chops. So we had pork chops, baked potato, and mixed vegetables, and cleaned it all up and left. And you know, it's just a lot that you have to have, and and if you're not good enough, I mean, I had 72 packs that were in backpacks, but I also had so much more that I was able to grab. Now, if I had to do this with my 5 grandkids, we would have to take a truck or both cars because we wouldn't have been able to get out with all of the stuff. And you need to make sure also that you bring items that the kids can use, coloring books, colors, word finds, all kinds of little games and things that they can have. You can go to the dollar store and get a checkers game for $1, you know, and they can at least play something, you know. But that's real quick in a nutshell, what to do before the storm. Make So y'all can start going home tonight and do homework. Go behind your TV, look for your serial number and your model number. When do you think you bought that? And how much did you pay for it? And how many pair of socks do you have?
Yeah.
And then, you know, like I said, if the bishop wants to maybe go ahead and do a copy of this little pamphlet, that's up to him. But anyways,
I think you should bring those to church on Sunday and.
well, these here are for the ward, so you can have them.
Oh, I can have.
You can give them out.
Oh, you're in primary.
Yeah, I'm in primary.
Well, thank you so much. That was
So
awesome.
that's really quick. Thank you.
Thank you.